Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of r/slash entitled people. In today's episode, girl wants to leave the scene of an accident because of her politics. Went to supermarket with my mother. I'm about to unload the groceries to put it on the chassier table from the supermarket basket. My mom stopped me and wanted me to put it back so that the chassier lady unloaded on her own. Is bringing dogs in stores entitlement? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Girl wants to leave the scene of an accident because of her politics. I was on a date with this girl who'd been great so far. It was our third time out. We were going to a concert. I was driving. It was going really well, and we were ahead of schedule when we witnessed a car accident. Car A was stopped at a green. No hazards or turn signal or anything oncoming towards them. Just sitting there. A green to red to green cycle occurs. So, it's a fresh green. The car directly behind car A, car B, gives a polite honk to car A. Nothing happens. The light turns red again. On the next green, car B drives around car A. Just as car B goes to drive around, car A turns, no signal, and smashes into car B. Car B comes to a stop. Car A drives off. I immediately got out and went to check on car B's driver. His car was banged up pretty good, but thank God, he was fine. Other good Samaritans had stopped by this point and were helping to attend to car B and making sure nobody ran into him while he was stopped, so I went back to move my car somewhere safe. First though, I said to the girl I was driving with, I guess we better call 911 and let the police know about all this. And she said, appalled, don't do that. You said he's fine. Let's just go. I couldn't believe she was so fixated on us making the concert that she was suggesting we just skip out on the scene of an accident. I figured I'd get my car off the road then assess the situation. There was too much going on at once. I hoped I must be misunderstanding her. I found a suitable place to pull off, and when I'd come back, police had already arrived. I was hanging around, waiting to talk to them. One told me they'd want to take my statement in a bit, but I'd already figured as much. I was overhearing them talking to car B's driver, and they asked if he had a dash cam or anything like that. That's when I remembered. I have a dash cam. I hadn't thought of it because I wasn't driving my usual car. My brother let me borrow his for the date. My driving us both to the concert was last minute when she suggested we both go together to save on parking. I offered to do it, trying to be a gentleman, but my car's a pigsty and I didn't have time to properly clean it. I wanted to make a decent first impression, so my brother's car was the backup. I went to the car to pop the camera off its holder. I wasn't sure how to extract the video's data, but figured they'd know. The girl I was with asked me what I was doing and pretty excited about the whole thing. I explained I'd probably captured the incident with the dash cam, so I was going to bring it over to the police. She grabbed my wrist, like, with force. Gripped my wrist is more like it, and yanked me back into the front seat. I thought maybe another car was coming or something. She gave me a heart attack. You can't do that, she gasped, like I told her I was going to ram the guy a second time for some insurance money of my own. Let's just go, she insisted. I couldn't believe it. That was a total turnoff for me. One of the things that had most attracted me to the girl in the first place was her compassion for others, service-oriented profession, and seemingly deep capacity for empathy. This was out of left field. I told her we had to stay around until the crash had been resolved, since we were witnesses. The police would want to talk to me. Probably her too. She emphasized again, you can't do that. What, do what? I asked, trying to figure out what I was missing. You can't talk to the police, she said, like it was cancerous. Still confused, I thought she meant I shouldn't insert myself into an active crime scene or whatever. So I explained the police had already let me know while I was over there that they definitely want my statement. She goes, you, a white male, are just going to cooperate with police? Of course. First of all, she's white. Second of all, The driver of car B was black. I gave up on trying to understand and told her, I think I'm probably missing something here. And she replied, yeah, about 3 centuries of systemic marginalization and oppression. I felt like I was reading a hoax article in the New York Post. I told her the obvious, that the impacted driver was black and probably wanted the incriminating dash cam footage of the person who hit his car. She has the nerve to go, he doesn't know what he wants. He's probably too scared. You have to help him. I was having trouble computing what she'd said, and I was still pretty excited that I had dash cam footage. So I told her the police had already let me know I had to give a statement, so I was pretty sure leaving at that point would be illegal, but that I'd be right back. I mean, she couldn't get mad at me for following the law, right? Wrong. When I got back, she was gone. Haven't heard from her since. Even after I reached out to be sure she made it home okay. Probably for the best we didn't make it any further. Maybe she had an outstanding warrant, and she was afraid they'd ask her to give a statement too, find out who she was and arrest her. Having weird politics is one thing, but just disappearing like that in the middle of the scene, leaving her ride behind, is suspicious. I choose to believe it's this one. He doesn't know what he wants, is one of the more racist things she could have said. She's a wannabe SJW. I'm glad you had the dash cam. Boom. I was worried I was racializing the situation, but that's exactly what it sounded like to me. Glad others are seeing it that way. Her. Of course black people are equal to me. Also her. That black guy is too stupid to know what he wants, so I have to white-splain it to him. Glad it's not just me who saw her whole deal as extremely condescending and weird. You have to help him. You are helping him by giving him evidence of someone crashing into his car. I don't get her problem. Monday night, 2 days ago, I was witness to what ended up being a 3-fatality crash. I was the only witness that stayed. I ended up being the only testimony that will be heard. I know that your crash was not as bad, but by her logic, I shouldn't have cooperated with the police as a white woman. People are crazy. Went to supermarket with my mother. I'm about to unload the groceries to put it on the chasier table from the supermarket basket. My mom stopped me and wanted me to put it back so that the chasier lady unloaded on her own. Went to supermarket with my mother. I'm about to unload the groceries to put it on the chasier table from the supermarket basket. My mom stopped me and wanted me to put it back so that the chasier lady unloaded on her own. I instantly snapped and it ruined my mood. Am I being easily triggered? Since kid, whenever I went grocery shopping with her, I always bickered with her about things. Many things seemed to upset and annoyed me. What do you think her reasoning is? Does she subtly entitled? In my place, it is common for the cashier to unload the groceries from handheld basket, but the one we currently use is the one with wheelie, so the design isn't supposed to be put on the chasier table as it is big and awkward. This kind of little thing she nagged me, or asked me, or helicoptering me makes me snaps. Do you think she exhibits entitlement? Or am I easily triggered? Whenever she does these, my instant reaction was to snap, and if not, my mood completely ruined. I disdain her little comment/nag. She makes me frustrated like a child. I worked as a cashier before, and I can understand if the customer has a hard time picking up their stuff, then I help. But when I encounter an entitled customer, I'll be petty. Walk around the counter to pick up their items slowly, then back on the counter and punch it slowly like double-checking something, and vice versa until they help me unload their items. I love it. If they have all day long to waste your time and wear you out, you can move at an untiring pace until they see the loss of time out of their day too. Good for you. You must work at one of those places where you are not timed for how much time elapsed between scans. Big box stores do not allow time to deal with these Karens appropriately, as you do. I don't know if it's exactly the same setup, but here I consider it mildly rude to even leave the items in a basket on the conveyor. Having to reach higher to clear the sides of the basket interrupts the flow of scanning and makes the cashier work harder. It's not a huge thing, but why make it slower and harder for them? You're usually waiting around for the person in front of you anyway. I've never seen somebody do that. You unload your shopping cart/basket/trolley so the cashier can cash you out. Does everybody else around you also do this? I think it's a messed up power play by your mom to make somebody do extra for her while working a shitty job. She just looks for a way to make their job a little bit harder. Back in the 90s, there were electronic dispensers in the aisles that spat out coupons. My mom's ex thought it was hilarious to walk by, grab a coupon, and throw it on the floor, just making a bigger mess for the staff to clean up. He would also park at the edge of the parking lot to walk through mud, then stomp his boots when we entered the store to try to clear it off. That's the kind of vibes this gives off. It used to embarrass the hell out of me, where I still remember it 30 years later. Sometimes I take great pleasure in doing exactly what my nagger doesn't want me to do. It always amazes me to see women at the store standing smugly while their groceries are being bagged. A number of years ago, the cashier remarked at my alacrity at bagging my stuff. "I'll let you in on a secret," I said. "I'll be unloading the bags myself as well." Is bringing dogs in stores entitlement? I ran to the corner store earlier, and there was an older white woman carrying her dog around. I see people in Target with dogs. WTF is this? To be very clear, these are not service dogs, or at least marked in any way. Just poodles being carried or pushed in the cart. Why do people think this is okay? And why doesn't anyone say anything? I guess I don't care that much. It's just weird. To be clear, this is references stores where animals are not allowed. I'm most irritated when I see dogs, not service dogs, in grocery stores. Just why on earth would you be like, "Oh, I think the dog should join me at a place I'm 100% certain they are not allowed to join me"? What bothers me is when someone brings a poorly behaved dog into an establishment and pretends it's a service dog. That's a slap in the face to people who actually have real service dogs. I volunteer at a cat lounge, cat cafe with no food or drink. We are in a pet-friendly mall, which is nice. Lots of indoor dog walkers when it rains. We're one of the few types of places that can legally bar service dogs because they would be so disruptive, like certain zoo exhibits. Some people still want to bring their random dogs into a room filled with 10 to 25 cats. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.